Today in the grain market, the soybeans were mixed. They really ended up lower. They had a big jump to start and then the sell off to new contract lows. All the grains really rebounded nicely to begin. But following the stocks rebound from the worst day since 1987, so there was some overflow sentiment from that, but it just wasn't enough to fill that gap that the soybeans were trying to fill. And I think that traders are reacting a little bit to the headlines, even though the stock market has recovered and at some point the futures were up almost over 1,000 points. It may end up that way, but the grains are really concerned about going forward. Now the corn really was kind of steady. The export to South Korea really had that market firmed up. The futures did dip to a new low as well, but they quickly recovered, mostly because of the good news about that sale to South Korea. But the president is still talking about a state of emergency, so we're not exactly sure what that's going to do to some of these markets. With a lot of the traders moved to the sidelines, we can expect that there's going to be still wild swings, even though today for corn has been relatively quiet. Now with wheat, was lower, and then the futures rebounded from that $5 support level. The futures did show some decent recovery with a quick bounce off that $5. That's a big benchmark, as we know, and it came right back up to unchanged, even a little bit better. But the market did stall out a little bit, but that still shows that the market is pretty steady. All the grains really have been suffering from headline fatigue, going back and forth, and in some ways there's only one way to go right now for the grains, and that really is to the upside. But the big question is, when is this going to happen? So I see the market still being kind of have wild swings right now, but they are relatively depressed as we start to work through this crisis. And of course, over the weekend, that's really like an eternity. So we're not exactly sure what's going to happen on Monday, but for the time being, the markets in the grains have been holding relatively steady.